All right. So happy Wednesday, my friends. I am so excited to be here today for Tribe Time. As usual, Tribe Time is one of our favorite calls. And I know this time of year is very busy. Everybody's running around different schedules, but I'm going to record it to be able to gift this to our community. And we have the honor today to have a special guest speaker, Jeanette, who I happen to connect with from actually one of my clients, Marissa, who has had an incredible transformation, not only with weight loss, but her habits, her mindset with her wellness journey. And so, she connected me with Jeanette. We had a few words back and forth, and she shared with me that she is a clarity coach. And I have to be honest, I had never even heard of a clarity coach. She explained to me how she, is also a life coach, right, Jeanette? Am I correct?
Yeah. Right. It's just more specific. It's more specific to what I do.
Right. And so I, told her, absolutely, come on in, help us. You're the expert, let us learn from you, your wisdom. And I'm excited because next year, Jeanette was kind enough to say that she would be willing to be a guest speaker on my coach team calls. So we're going to start January strong with her helping her she's going to help us get very clear on our vision, on our goals. I mean, what a perfect way to start off 2023. So we like to keep these calls, anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour. So Jeanette, I'm going to give it right over to you. So you can take it away, and we'll open it up for question and answers at the end.
Yeah, thank you, Suzette. The only thing I do need is to be able to share screen, because I have some, some slides I want to go over with you all. But thank you all for being here on a I don't even know what day it is today. Wednesday. I lose track of days sometimes. On a Wednesday night. I'm sure you can relate. It's like December is tomorrow. There you go. It's like, where did November go? But just to say a little bit about myself, also that gets that going for us. First and foremost, I always like to say I'm a mother first. So for those of you that are moms, you know what that journey is like. My journey to motherhood took me 7 years. So I had a very difficult time getting pregnant originally with my daughter. So she is my miracle child. She's now 19 years old. Hard to believe she's a sophomore at FIU. So my original profession was an educator, and I was a teacher for many years. If I look back and count, it's hard to believe. I left the profession at 28 years in. So I left the profession June of 2021 to step into this full time. I had been doing this part time for 10 years. So I felt the calling to just really, really go all heart, all soul, all mind, all body, all in it. And if you've ever been called to something, you may try to go this way and go that way, but those whispers of spirits, they'll come around. There's little signs here and little signs there that you just can't avoid. And I was at that point where I said, all right, we're just going to strap that parachute on, and we're just going to inch our way out to the edge of that plane. And when they say go and the door opens, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to really hope that when I rip this cord, this thing is going to open and safely let me land at the bottom. And knock on wood, I've been blessed that, I'm here, what is it, a year and almost a half later, and I'm doing well. And I'm really branching out to speak to groups such as yourself and make myself known and what I do and ways that I can serve. Because as I was telling Suzette, that is my main thing. I'm not here to make money or sell things and stuff like that. Yes, it's a business, but my main thing is mainly to serve. How can I get the message out to help others? Mainly with what I've been through, which is what a lot of what I do. So I'll give you a quick background, and then we'll jump into what I want to speak to you about today. And so I was that, maybe you can relate. I was that woman that for a good portion of my life had extremely high expectations of myself. Nothing wrong with that, until it goes awry and it runs your life. I was that person that always wanted to make everybody happy. People pleaser, wanted to make sure everybody was okay. I was the person that people would come to when they had their problems, because of course I do this for a living, right? So there was always that in there somewhere. And I was a go, 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 go type of person. You know, it was like those to-do lists that were just like, they kept going. And then the exciting thing is you'd scratch things off and you'd be like, yes, only to be like, wait a minute, there's like 4 more things I have to add to the bottom of it. And so it came to a point in my life after many health scares, starting all the way back to when I was 19, where I ended up with something called a Bell's palsy. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's it's a paralysis of somewhere in your body. In my case, it was the left side of my face got paralyzed. They took me to a neurologist and told my parents, listen, she's a stressed 19-year-old and this is what caused it. 19 years old. That's where my situation with stress started. And it went just downhill from there. I was hospitalized with dehydration twice in my lifetime. I ended up with a disc that got messed up in my back because I was too impatient to wait for people to come and help me. So I didn't know how to ask for help. I was a go-getter. I was just go and do it myself, not wait for people. And so, you know, my back gave out eventually after not receiving the help I needed. So if you can relate to any of these things, of being that woman on the go that feels like the weight of the world is on her shoulders, and if I don't carry it, nobody else will. I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure maybe you've heard it from Suzette or other people in this lifetime, it doesn't have to be that way. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think people pleaser here, exactly, Suzette. I think one of the main things, and this is why I love what I do in terms of coaching others to clarity, you have the answers all within you. We all do. It's just we have all these little things that kind of block it, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And so what's important is to really become aware. And one of my quotes is that awareness is the greatest tool we have at our disposition to change our lives. So when we can pause long enough, I like to say there's power in the pause. When you can pause long enough, you can become very clear on what it is you intend for yourself and your life. But if you were, like I mentioned, like myself, on the go all the time, literally trying to keep those balls in the air, even worse. I don't know if you've ever gone to or seen one of those Chinese acts that they have, like they're on a unicycle and then they've got the little plates and it's like 15 plates spinning, right? and you're like, how do they keep that going? That looks like a lot of us, especially women. We feel like we have to keep those plates spinning, or else, God forbid, what are people gonna think? This is a story I grew up with as a young girl. No. I don't know how many of you here are Hispanic, but in the Hispanic culture, no, zoop, zoop, because what are people gonna say? And so you grew up with a lot of these stories within you where it affects you later on in adult life. So today I wanted to talk to you because I know you're on this journey, right? This is a group that's on their well-being, health, exercise, eating right, and really changing your life kind of journey. And first of all, let me tell you, I applaud you for doing that. That is not an easy task by any means, to say, I'm ready. I'm ready, and I know I'm ready, and I'm ready to change something. We're not talking about fixing yourself. You don't need fixing. You're not broken. This is about really rising to a different level within you. And that's exciting to say, this is where I'm at, and this is where I envision myself. And so the steps in between here and here is what I think where clarity really comes in, so that you're clear on what's the direction, because you can have all of the ideas in the world, but if you have no vision as to where you are going and you don't have any action steps on how to get you there, it's just great ideas and it's just daydreaming, and you stay stuck, which is where many of us for most of our lives are. We're like unhappy, but we're not really sure why. We're like, I don't know. I shouldn't be upset because I have a great life. I have a great husband, a great job, a great friends, but yet there's something missing, right? We're never really sure how to pinpoint that. Again, that's where clarity comes in. Let me share my screen, because today is really about, let me see where my screen is here. Let me see. No, here. Oh, I think there's somebody there, Suzette, another guest. Present, and that way you can all see it. Awesome. So today is about really aligning your actions to your intentions. So we get clear on what it is that we want. And right now it seems like most of you want the journey to well-being, to feel good, yes? To feel good in all areas of your life, not just it's not just about weight. Again, I'm sure you've heard Suzette say this at your meetings or on this journey you've known. This is not about weight. This goes beyond weight. This is not about being strong or having muscles here or there. This is not about what's on your plate. This goes beyond that. So my question, and what I want you to think about today, if you've got something to write with and something to write on, perfect. That is great, because I'm a very interactive person. It's the old teacher in me. Can't get that habit out. So we're going to do a little thinking and a little clarity work today. So what is your intention? What do you intend for yourself? What is it that you want and see for yourself as a possibility? And a lot of times we come short of that. We come short of that, and we don't dream high enough, or we don't intend big enough. I'm gonna give you a quick example. I was at one of Oprah's events that she had here. It was one of those big stadium events right before COVID hit. As a matter of fact, February of 2020, I was at that event, January, I'm sorry, with my sister and a couple of friends that we went. And she told a story about how in life, all she wanted and what she felt was making it big, was having a house that had 6 trees. Because to her, she had never had a home. Growing up, I'm sure you've heard Oprah's story. She grew up very poor, came from, mother and grandmother who were housekeepers to white folks and all this kind of stuff, right? And so all they dreamed for her was that she, as a little girl, would end up getting a family that would treat her right, a family that she could clean for that would treat her right. And she knew that there was something beyond that for her. But all she really envisioned was 6 trees. And so she told the story about that. And being Oprah, billionaire woman, she actually had somebody come and count the trees in her current property, one of her current properties. We all know she has several. Turns out, ladies, Oprah has 1,500 trees on her property. And this wasn't about boasting. This wasn't what she was talking about. What she was saying was that her vision for what she thought big was just 6 trees, when really she was capable of 1,500. So I want you to take that story with you and see, what are you shooting for when it comes to your intention? And I don't particularly care to call them goals, although goals are important. We're going to get to that, but it's really about intention. What do you see that is possible for yourself? So my first question to you, can drop it in the chat. It's a very small group. You can shout it out to if you like. What does well-being mean to you? It's important to know that, because you're on a journey. And it's not about weight loss. It's not about getting strong. It's not about losing inches. Yes, it is, but it's not. It's really about well-being. So what does well-being mean to you? You can drop it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. You don't need to raise your hand or ask for permission. Stacy.
So I could go all night long with that. It's lots of things. It's body, mind, and spirit. If I had to give it one word.
No, it doesn't have to be one word.
Well, grounded, very grounded, very centered, very, kind of like a tree, like the job of well-being for me is to grow the roots of my being into the ground, basically like a tree.
Yeah.
So then, when life hits and storms blow, I'm there and I'm grounded. The roots, it's well-being is growing my roots into the ground. I think that's how I would describe it.
That's beautiful. That's one I've never heard before. And I've asked this question a few times in many presentations. I do. I love it.
I will tell you, my therapist taught me that my very first session. She made me stand up and she told me that I was going to grow roots into the ground like a tree.
That's
so
beautiful.
You just reminded me of something 13 years ago.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, a couple of others, if you want to join in and say what you think well-being means to you, grounding yourself is very important every day. Like I said, if you are someone that's on the go and you're a people pleaser and you're missy, want to help everybody and volunteering and all this kind of stuff, our nervous system takes a hit every single day. And so we are in fight, flight without even knowing it. Okay. And that becomes chronic stress over time. And as a friend of mine who's a doctor says, the issue is in the tissues. The stress ends up staying in your tissues if we don't release it through exercise. Number one, right? This is when you finish and you got that high, whether it's running or whether it's lifting weights or getting on the treadmill, whatever you're doing, you have that, that really good feeling. But it's important to ground yourself. And one easy way to do that, if you've got grass anywhere in your front or backyard, take your shoes off, take a walk outside and go ground yourself on the grass. If you ever remember Richard Gere in the movie, I forgot what it was called, The Pretty Woman, right? He takes his shoes off and he did his best thinking, right? With his shoes off on the grass. Anyone else want to chime in before I move on? I don't want to leave anybody out. Estrella, I know you joined us a little late. Welcome. I'm Jeanette Melian. I'm your presenter for today.
Hi, nice to meet you. Well, for me, well-being is just making sure that my family is healthy and everybody's doing good, and that makes me feel good. I'm mentally good when everybody else is good in the house.
Okay.
So
that's great. And it's like Stacey was saying, if I had to give it one word or if I had to sum it up, it doesn't have to be one word, because really well-being ends up being 8 different dimensions. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's financial. I don't know if you know that. A lot of us don't have financial well-being, and so that stresses us out and affects all the other parts of well-being. It's social, so the people that surround you. It is intellectual, and I can go on. So it is different parts of your life coming together and being, as Stacey said, grounded and being balanced out, and where you feel like you're thriving and you feel fulfilled in all those areas. Now, some are going to be a little better, some are going to be, here, but overall, you have that sense and feeling where you are not like literally struggling every day, right? And obviously, the working out, like I said, and exercising is a huge part of that. It is for me. So I found this quote. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you don't know him, he is great. He is about rewiring your brain, because as I always say in every workshop, is this up here is our number one source of suffering. Right up here, this. Our mind and our brain. Its job is to keep you safe, to keep all of us safe. And so it does things that keeps us from taking risks, from trying new things, from saying yes, right? Because it's here to keep us safe. So I love him because he's a lot about learning how to reprogram your brain. And he says you need to let go of the things you used your whole life to get what you want for something greater to occur. So start trusting the possibility that exists. And that's part of what I want you to leave with here today. What is possible for me? How wide and how big and how beautiful can my intention be that I create so that I can thrive in life and not keep myself safe or small or pushed down because this up here is affecting me. So that's a beautiful quote. And by the way, if you want to take pictures of anything you see, this is not copyrighted for you. It's not a copyrighted presentation. Feel free to, anything that kind of resonates with you, you can take a picture of. That's easier for you than writing it down. So goals are helpful, as I said before, to direct your steps. But I've always felt that more important than goals, because we can really shame ourselves when we don't hit them, let's be honest, is the reason why you work for those goals, or the reason behind what you intend. So my question to you today is, what is your why for this well-being journey, for this journey you've started with Suzette or with Beachbody at this time? Because when you know your why, here's what happens. You are motivated to push through the difficult times. You're motivated to get up and go to the gym or go on a run or go on a walk when you don't feel like doing it, because you're very clear on the reasons why you're on this journey. It's not because somebody said, hey, you could stand to lose 20 pounds, that maybe your doctor said for your health reasons, you need to lose weight. And now you're doing it only because they said so, right? So it's important that you are very clear on the reason why you've stepped into this at this time in your life. When you know your why, you're going to seek people and opportunities that align with your why. Here is a group of you right here supporting each other because you're all on the same journey, led by Suzette, who's your mentor, really cheering you on. And that's what's needed. That's what coaches are. Suzette is one kind of coach. I'm a different kind of coach. But what we're here is to applaud you, to keep you accountable, and to help you when you are feeling like I can't take one more step. We're here to remind you of the reasons why you said you wanted to do this, right? Why you're here. You start to eliminate things that don't support it. So when you are really clear on your why for anything in life, you start to say no to those things that are going to kind of take you off the road, that, you know, off the journey. And that may even include, ladies, certain people. Not everybody is meant to be on the same journey with you forever. I know that may be hard to hear. I'm an extremely loyal person to the people that I love, to friends. I have friends that go way back to first grade, and they're still friends of mine. But there are times in life, you know how they say some people are with you for a reason, for like a little minute. Some people are with you, what, for a season and for a lifetime. And it's important for us to understand that not everything is meant to be permanent and forever. And so not everybody is going to support this journey that you're on. Not everybody's going to understand it. And it's okay. I'm not saying to just have a fight and kick them out of your life, but, you know, it may be that it's better to be surrounded by people who lift you up and are headed in the same direction you are, whether it's this direction or something else in your life. And finally, when you know your why, you get what truly fulfills you instead of what you feel you should do. Anybody here love the word should? I was one of them and still am to some extent, right? There's a, I need to do this, I must do this, I should do this, I have to do this. Careful what comes out of your mouth, because words have power. I've learned this the hard way in life. And sometimes I say it even out loud when no one's around. Yes, I sometimes talk to myself. I'll say it out loud and I'll catch myself and be like, what did you just say? Ease up, my friend, because that right there, let's reframe that and say it differently. So be careful with the word should and the stress that you put on yourself, those expectations that sometimes are not realistic. So when we're going to look at what is it that is our why, let's talk about core values. This is super important. So this is why you need pen and paper or pencil and paper. When you know what it is that is important to you, what you value, what these are like the words and truths that you live by, and you start to align your actions to this, life will start to shift for you. And you're going to start to feel a little more whole, as opposed to, I don't understand why I feel so like out of it, or that I'm not happy or whatnot. So simple activity. I'm going to give you about five minutes to do it. You're going to review this list. It's in ABC order. Yes, it's a teacher thing. So you're going to review the words in ABC order and explore. What are the words that just kind of jump out of the page for you, right? And you're going to choose 10. And I know when people do this exercise, oh my goodness, but there's like 20 that I love. Yes, okay, I get it. But you got to pick 10, and you're going to reduce that list to 5. A lot of these are slightly synonymous, okay? So you may have making a difference with, I don't know, with maybe connection, just to say, because if you make a difference, you're making a connection with someone. So try to see the ones that really, really stand out for you, okay? I'll give you just a few quiet moments to do that. I don't know if you can see them all. I guess on your end, you can see them all, okay. Oh, I just saw your why, Suzette. Thank you for including that. That's a beautiful mission. Well said. So like I said, you'll have 10 words that really resonate with you, really stand out for you. And you can kind of narrow that or see if some of those even are slightly synonymous with each other, and bring it down to about 5. Doesn't mean that all 10 can't be a part of your life, but you're going to have some that are going to really be the truths and words that you live by. And again, remember that this is you. This is what you think, not what, you know, your mom and dad or your sister or brother, your cousin, anybody that's influential to you in your life feel or think. This is about you. Okay, Maite, are you still thinking? Maite, yes, you're still okay. So I see you like really looking at the words there. All right, I was just wondering if I can move on. I don't want to keep you all here way too long, but if you want Maite to take a snapshot of it so that you get the, you can take, you did, okay. So you can have the gist of what the activity is, and then you can always, you know, come back to it. If anybody here does any kind of journaling, this is a great thing to take to a second step, right? And further really think about these and the reason why you picked them. So let's see where I'm here. These are the truths that we live by, the things that we value. However, what gets in the way? What gets in the way of living these? There are many times when people say, but family is a value of mine. I really value family. And then these same people that say that they value family don't really participate in family events, or stay at work till 7, 8 o'clock at night and don't come home and spend time, or they get home and they continue working, you know, so they're not having dinner with the family. So how is that valuing family, right? So it's to be very clear about what you value and how that you are aligning your actions to what you value and to what you intend. But these are 5 things. There are many. These are just 5 things that I feel a lot of times keeps us from sort of aligning ourselves and gets in the way of us living these values and this intention. Number 1 is outside influences. So these are the voices that you hear from childhood, mom or dad. They're very present in your life, especially if your parents are still living and you're close to them. It's the ay pero, especially for Hispanic parents. Ay pero, really? You should think about, and then they influence you to say, why are you doing what you're doing? So this is their thoughts. This is their perception, their opinion on your life. So depending on who you are, you usually, maybe you take those influences and you follow what they say. This is where the should comes in a lot. So I want you to pay attention to that and just be aware, you know, of whose voice is in there. Whose voice are you really listening to? Outside influences, listen, can be anyone on Instagram. Could be Miss Top Fitness person, and you're saying, if I'm not doing it like her, then I'm not doing it right, or him. If I'm not eating like them, then I'm a disaster. So there's those outside influences. There's cultural influences. Like I just said, there's a lot of things in personally, and that's the only culture I know, the Hispanic culture, which I grew in, that has influenced me in my life. And it's like, God forbid that you do that, because that's not like appropriate thing. And you may be, in a different culture, and it may be the same for you. So pay attention to that, how that is keeping you from aligning to what you want, not what someone else thinks is right for you. This is your life. And so I just want to remind you, in case you forgot, that you and only you are the creator of your life. You are here to design the life of your choice and of your dreams and of your vision and of your intention. It's not for anybody else to come and tell you how to live it, even if they mean well, even if it's a parent, even if it's a sister or a good friend, even if it's Susie here, Suzette telling you, hey, this is, how you should be doing it. You can take her advice and you wanga your way, how you think it should be, because it's your life and what's right for you. So careful with outside influences. I'm going to jump to limiting beliefs. We all have them. We all have that voice. voice of judgment, especially for us women, the voice of judgment that says, you're really going to wear that dress to the party? Have you seen yourself in that? I'm sorry, forget it, right? We talk to ourselves like we would never talk to anybody else. We feel it's okay to speak to ourselves in this manner, to blame ourselves, to criticize ourselves, to judge ourselves, to shame ourselves for things. And a lot of that comes from limiting beliefs, right? It's the voice of judgment, it's the voice of cynicism, and it's the voice of fear within you. Remember, I said this is trying to keep you safe. So it's preventing you in its mind, in your own mind, from heading to that party in the dress that it deems you're going to get laughed at. So it's trying to protect you, right? So we got to make friends with our own mind and understand that it's here trying to do the best. So sometimes I talk to my own mind and I say, not now, right? Talk to the hand. I don't have time for you right now. I'm not going to listen. I know what's in my heart and I know my intuition. I'm following it. And this is what's leading me. Be quiet, please. So these limiting beliefs, it's really the story that we're all telling ourselves. We all have a story. We all have a life story, a story of our past, the story of our present, and the story we want our future to be. But a lot of times we tell ourselves stories. These are the stories that we're listening to and the stories that we repeat ourselves to ourselves about what we can and can't do, what we deserve or don't deserve, what we're worthy or what we're not worthy of, you know, what's right and what's wrong for us. And so what limiting beliefs do is they just keep us stuck. And what I found is that many times we are merely 3 feet from gold, 3 feet from, you know, from achieving that we want, right? And we just give up. We're 3 feet from hitting the mother lode and we just go, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Forget it. It's not worth it. So just know that especially on this journey that you are on, limiting beliefs are going to get you every time because it's going to tell you, you know what? You've tried this before. You've bought the videos. You've gone to the things. You've done the meetings. You've tried to do Weight Watchers. You've done, and look at you. You've never succeeded. And it's going to keep, that record player is going to keep playing in your head. And what you need to tell yourself is this time it's different because this time I'm clear on what my why is. And this time I'm clear on the things that are holding me back because awareness, again, is the greatest tool at our disposition for changing our lives. Self-sabotage. That's when you literally say you want to do something and then secretly somewhere behind the scenes, you're doing things that go against that. Again, because of limiting beliefs. You don't think, you think, okay, so what if I get to that point and I look great and I feel great and I finally get to buy the clothes I want to buy, or I feel the extra energy because I'm eating right and, I'm sleeping well and all these things. And you're like, I don't know what that's like. I've never been there. That's scary. That's unknown, right? We freak out for what we don't know. So we'd rather stay, we self-sabotage because of this, we'd rather stay right where we are, even slightly miserable, but at least it's what we know, right? Because there's comfort in the known. The unknown is what scares the bejesus out of it. But that's what I'm telling you is that's where you got to go. That's where the fruit is, right? At the end of the branch. It's not the one that falls to the floor. The good fruit, once it falls to the floor, a lot of times it's podrido. It's all like, so you got to go out and find that branch with the best fruit on it. The last two, perfectionism. That's what I was talking about, where we have those high expectations, nothing wrong with them. But when it borderlines on keeping you stuck or freezing you because it's not good enough and I'm not going to do it unless it's perfect. That's just a story you're telling yourself. If you've never read Brené Brown, I highly suggest, I see some people smiling. So, most people know who she is in the personal development world. She is an amazing author. She's a doctor. She's got a podcast. She's been on Oprah multiple times. Check out her Power of Vulnerability TED Talk. It's the best 17 minutes. That's what launched her into superstardom in this field, the power of vulnerability. And she talks about how perfectionism is a 20-ton shield that we walk around with, right? So it's like picture perfect on Instagram. Look at me, look at this, look at that. Everything is perfect because we don't want anybody to say anything that would damage us, right? And we all do it because one of the main human traits that we have as all humans and this comes from her too, write this down, is an inherent need to belong. We need to belong. And anything that makes us feel like we don't fit in and we don't belong is like death to us as a human, right? So I'm getting into a little psychology, but that is perfectionism. That's why we do the perfectionism thing, because we want to make sure that no matter where we are, we fit in and we're liked. So just be aware of that. And the last one is busyness. That was my middle name, Jeanette Busyness Melian, for many, many years. I use busyness in the worst of ways. And I'm going to tell you how I use busyness. So 3 things I want you to know about busyness, and you can write these down. The first thing about busyness is that, or being busy, is that it can be a learned trait. So I learned it from my mother. My mother, I ended up just like my mother. My mother was a busy bee, just did not stop. And if she did, guess what? She felt guilty. Oh my goodness, I'm lying on this couch too long. Look at all the things I need to get done. And she'd just get right up and keep going. And then would be like, I'm so tired. I'm dead to the world. Now she's 88 and she's suffering from, thankfully, she's healthy, just turned 88. But she's finally slowed down because she realizes she's just tired from a life of being a busy bee. So I learned that. It was a learned behavior. Second thing about busyness is we use it as a way to avoid. That was me. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't attend that party. Oh no, I can't go out with friends. Oh, I'm too busy. And it was just my way of like, I didn't want to do things. So I used busyness as an excuse. In my marriage, I was married for 12 years. And I've been divorced for 14. And I use busyness as a way to avoid intimacy. And I don't mean just that, just as a way of being there, present, intimate. And I'm too busy. I got dishes to do. I can't, So I use that. And the last one that we use busyness for is that we feel like if we're busy and we're involved and we're helping people and we're volunteering and we're the person at work that's like, I'm the head of this committee and that and this, that, and the other, that we feel and we associate busyness, being busy, with being important or being valuable. Look how valuable I am if they feel like I can handle all of this. No, they just feel like you're the one that just participates and you raise your hand and you decide to do it. You said you could. So these are 3 things about busyness, and these things keep us from aligning ourselves to what we intend. Whether it's an excuse, whether it's real, whether it's in your mind, wherever it is, these are things that really keep us from thriving in life. Because when we're aligned, we're thriving. When we're not aligned. So, quick question for you. You can just write these down, or if you want to take a picture of it and really think about it later, and at least maybe just write 1 down. What are 3 behaviors that support your value? I'm going to give you a quick example. One of my values is peace. So if I think of 3 behaviors that support my value, first of all, I've eliminated, like I said, things in my life that rob me of peace. I've learned boundaries. That's another workshop for a whole nother day. I've learned boundaries with certain people that would be energy vampires, literally people that come and suck the life out of you. So I learned to stop, to say, hey, listen, I'd love to help you. Really, I would, but I can't right now. Can I get back to you later? Because I know it's going to be an hour and a half of my time using me as their life coach, which I don't mind, but I've learned, right? So I've eliminated those things. Another thing that is one of my behaviors is peace. If you notice the colors here in my house, and even my brand colors are very muted, very soft, very, just home like type, my whole home is like that. I don't have clutter in my home, everything. I'm not saying it's minimalist, but I come home and clutter gives me anxiety. So my closets look okay, things are good. And the last thing that is a behavior, it's not there, but right in that spot right over there is where I have my meditation cushion. And that's where I meditate every morning. So that's how I start my day. I wake up earlier than I need to. I am not a 4 a.m. workout person, never have, never will be. I'm more of an afternoon, early evening person to go work out. But that's how I start my days. Stretching here in my office behind this chair and about 15, 20 minutes of meditation. I use an app called Insight Timer, which I love. It's free. It's got yoga. It's got workshops that are free in there. It's got music, guided meditation if you need somebody talking to you. So in one of those, just pick one of the ones that you had there. If it's family, if it's, health, if it's faith, whatever it is, think about. And if you don't have the time to do it now, what are 3 behaviors that support that value? Because when you are supporting the value and you are in action of living those values, then you are aligned. And then sometimes it's the shady behavior that's outside of your value. And for me, the things that rob me of peace is when I tend to not use my time wisely and then rush to have to get somewhere. And that's, to me, that's like also death, because I don't like to be late. That's another story for another day. So it's a childhood thing that I had ingrained in me about never be late. And so being late always used to freak me out. And still to this day, I have to fight that. So a shady behavior is when I don't use my time wisely, then I'm running late, and then it disturbs my inner peace, right? So get clear on these, on what's supporting and what's pulling you away from that. All right, so let's see some faith, ambition, peace, trust. Thank you for those of you that were sharing your values with me. I appreciate it. Beautiful ones. Yes. Connection is one of mine too, Suzette. Faith and family for sure. Health, peace, and compassion is another one of mine. I have like 5 or 6. So of those 5 that I mentioned, right, before, and I'll go back to them, which of those, I want you to think about it, write it down big, which of those 5 is getting in the way of you aligning your actions to what you wish to create, the goals that you have, the intention that you have for yourself. So I'm going to head back so that you can see which one of these 5 is the one that's really getting in your way right now. And it doesn't have to be on one side of the spectrum, it could just be a little bit. If you're pretty much thriving and you're doing well in your life, which one of these is just kind of giving you the hiccups? All right, so write that down. I'm going to go back to this question. What's one action step you can take today? Just one. Sometimes that's all it takes. It's not even this big, massive action. We have people, I love Tony Robbins, but sometimes he's very intense about, you have to take massive action, the way he yells and screams. Sometimes, listen, it's a micro step. And your micro step may have been to have seen maybe something Suzette posted or somebody introduced you to her and something, and you just said, let me just ask her a question. And asking that question, that was your micro step to listen to what she had to say about what Beachbody's all about, all of the benefits that you get from joining a group. And you just made the decision to say yes. And that was a further step that you took. But sometimes it's just a micro step. So which of those 5 is getting in your way? Again, thank you for sharing. You don't have to. I don't expect you to, but I appreciate it. And if you want to unmute as well, you can. And what's one action step you can take? Yeah, limiting beliefs. I believe it. I have like 4. Thank you, Maite, for being honest. I have like 4, but the biggest one is busyness. Okay, so does the way I explained it, does that help you understand it a little bit more? Right? Okay, so when you have the awareness now, you can say, okay, I see that I'm using busyness for XYZ and it's not serving me. Ladies, think about the things that are not serving you and not serving you mind, body, and spirit. And start to little by little make the changes that you need to let those things go. Busyness is always a problem. So if it is, then try to kind of like peel the layers back for yourself. Or I can also gift you a free half-hour session with me, and you can find that on my Instagram. I'll explain that at the end. It's really to peel back the layers. What's the root cause of that? Why do I always feel like I have to be doing X, Y, or Z? One of those 5. So action step is time management and personal growth and development to get rid of limiting beliefs. Yeah. And just like this health and well-being is a journey, personal growth is a journey. I started this when I was 40. I'll be 54 in 2 weeks. Yay, I'm happy and healthy and loving life and thriving. I feel it's been thank you. It's been 14 years. I am nowhere near done. I'm finding little skeletons and things when I peel back a layer or 2 and go, oh my goodness, I'm still dealing with that. Come on. But then it's about saying, okay, you're still dealing with that, but now you know better. So maybe now we can do a little better to fix it. There's a quote back there that you probably can't see because it's probably backwards on the screen, but I'm going to read it to you. And it's a beautiful quote by Pema Chodron, P-E-M-A Chodron, C-H-O-D-R-O-N, Pema Chodron. And it says, nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Powerful. That means that patterns and things keep coming in different shapes and different sizes and different people and different jobs and different experiences and opportunities. So until we deal with what is keeping us not grounded, but what is keeping us firmly in the ground and not seeing what's possible for us and expanding and growing as an individual, we're going to be there. It's just going to keep repeating itself until we learn that lesson. No pun intended, as the former teacher. Right? So everything that I've talked about today really, and this journey of well-being, this journey into the core of yourself, it's really about self-love. It's about loving yourself first and foremost, because the love that you have for yourself, the relationship that you have for yourself is the foundation for every other relationship you have in your life. It's about self-compassion. And I know Suzette will agree with this, in that when you miss a workout or two, or when you decide to go for that darn croqueta, because that's one of my weaknesses, or the Oreo cookies, my other weakness, and you just go and you just like, and I do 3, it's not to beat yourself to death because you did that. It's like a little kid that falls off his skateboard and off the bike. You're not going to kind of like yell at, why did you fall? What is this? What a disaster you are. No, you fell. You ate what you weren't supposed to, or wasn't really indicated for you on the journey that you're on. You skipped some workouts. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about reframing how you speak to yourself with compassion and saying, it's been a difficult week. This is a new habit I'm starting. Habits take time, you know? There's things I'm processing and things, you know, that I'm trying to work through. Love yourself and be compassionate with yourself. And then above all, have radical acceptance for who you are and where you are right now on this journey. And I posted something on my Instagram today that said, it's an affirmation that says something like, I believe that I am right where I am meant to be at this point in my life. You know, I trust that I am exactly where I'm meant to be. And trying to, this is another thing. I was a very impatient young 20 and 30-year-old. I'd always want to get to point Z. You know, so if I started something, that's why I could never scrapbook or do crafts, because I just wanted to see the end result, and all those little things took forever. So know that this journey that you're on, love every second of it, every pain, every repetition, every workout, every whatever. And don't wait to, like, I just can't wait to get to what you envision yourself. Love, experience the journey along the way, and accept yourself in every part of it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So here's one little action plan I want to leave you with. It's a very simple thing I do, and it's called energy check-ins, ECIs. You can do it on your cell phone, or you can use an app, because there's an app for everything, of course, called Mind Jogger, right? And what Mind Jogger will do is it will alert you 1, 2, 3 times a day, however many times a day you say, but it will randomly alert you. So it could alert you at 9 today, at 12 tomorrow, at 6, you know, different times. And what I want you to do, this is a little action plan for becoming more aware and pausing and be powerful in your pause. So when that little alert goes off, you're going to tell it on the app what you want it to alert you to. So one of your things could be, what am I thinking? Another alert could be, what am I feeling? Connect to your body. Because a lot of times you're grabbing for something that you're not supposed to grab for, or you don't want to go to the gym because you're not connected to yourself and connected to your why. Again, you're not aligned. And what am I doing? And then ask yourself, does this action that I'm about to do or not do, does this support the direction of the life I'm trying to create for myself? That's the question. That is the clarity question for you. Is this that I'm about to say to my husband going to support the direction of my marriage, or is it not? Is it best for me to just swallow what I'm about to say? or to my best friend or to my child. Okay? So be very clear on your why and know, is this action going to elevate what I'm trying to accomplish, or is it going to derail me? And if it derails you momentarily, okay, you dust yourself off, you pick yourself up, and you become your own cheerleader to keep going. But if it derails you like forever, that's not good, because this is your health, and we only get one life, right? In this body anyway. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? Energy check-ins. Any questions on any of these? I see a couple of people said a couple of things. Who said something here? Stacy, I always say that if something has not gone away, it must have a huge lesson for our growth. So we must have more of it to learn from it. Yeah, absolutely. It just keeps coming back. It doesn't serve you as my awareness. Good. Guys are right on track here. All right, so I didn't want to keep you too long. I had just some things to whet your appetite and get you thinking. You all can really take this further in your own journals or for your next group meeting and discuss it a little further on your own. But I'm on Facebook and Instagram, mostly Instagram. I forget to post to Facebook a lot of times, but it's at Jeanette Melian Coaching. My website is my first and last name. My email, if you need to reach out to me for anything, I'd be more than happy to answer you back and hear from you. It's JeanetteMelianCoaching@gmail.com. And then I forgot to mention that I have a podcast that it's going into its third season in January. It's called A Cup of Clarity. I was a major coffee drinker before, Cuban coffee, which was probably the downfall of my gut for many years. I eliminated that out of my diet and all the sugar that has. And now I either do green tea or just one cup of, really good coffee. But I'm proud to say, and this is where you get the 6 trees and the 1,500 trees. So this is not to boast, but it just goes to show you that when you intend something, that doors will start to fly open for you when you never even thought of it. So this humble little podcast, because that's what it is, has been downloaded in 75 different countries and 1,547 cities across the entire world. I have people in Saudi Arabia listening to this. So how that happened, I have no idea. Right? So some of them are just me, myself, and I for about 15, 20 minutes. And sometimes it's with a guest speaker, an expert in their field. So you can find it on any of the podcast platforms. You can do that. So this is what it looks like when you look for it on Apple. It's, hair, makeup, and that was a couple of years ago. And there's my Instagram account a while back. So you'll see me do some reels and different things, just like everybody else. And really, I help women access the clarity to attain physical, emotional, and mental well-being so they can thrive in life. That's what I help you do. My little gift to you all today is this. I'd like to leave you with this as a little follow-up for you. And it's a video I did maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's a little, it's a mini course. I guess that's what I can call it. It's a mini course. And you'll see me on video, and we'll talk about how getting clear helps you create a life of purpose, presence, and peace. And so when you come in here, let's see if I can get to this. It'll take you to this, right? Where you can just put your name and email. Let me tell you about this. You will not get 50 emails from me. I don't have that kind of time. You get maybe 1 or 2 newsletters from me with some good tips and things and a little bit about my life and how I can help you and so on. Twice a month at best, okay? So this mini course is going to show you how to identify blocks in your life, bypass your mind, taming those racing thoughts, right? Because that is our downfall, and how to start a meditation and gratitude practice and a journal practice so you can feel lighter in spirit and at peace. So really name, email, that's it. And you get it, and you can watch it at your own pace. And it's just a way to, take this further. All right. And I think that's all I have for you all. Oh, let me go ahead and hang on. Let me drop this in the chat.
I love it, Jeanette. That was going to be my question. I was going to say, how do we get?
Yeah. Let me get it for you. Hang on. In case sometimes I'm not techie. I need to go to the chat. Here we go. Chat. Here, type for everybody. And if you click on there, boom, you get it. Yes, enter.
Yes, I see it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeanette. You were awesome. And
thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you all were here. And I always like to say there are no coincidences. I'm sure you have more clients and more people that could have jumped on this Zoom today, as you all meet obviously regularly, but you're the ones that are here and you received what you needed to receive. I know that Suzette is also recording this, so it's great for the others that will listen to it afterwards, but no coincidences that we ended up connecting together and that you're the group that I came to speak to today. So thank you. My heart is full. I go to bed happy today.
Thank you. Thank you. So before you go, really quick, I just want to open it up for any questions.
Yes, absolutely.
That they have, just since we have you here. Girls, anything you want to ask?
I want to say that first, I don't know if you watch Channel 7 News, you give me vibes of Alex de Armas, which I absolutely love.
I don't know.
Listen, you're covering your face.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alex de Armas, she's on Channel 7.
I don't know her.
News anchor. Well, you remind me of like an older version of her, which I
wow, okay,
love.
I'll take it.
I absolutely love.
I'm gonna have to go find her.
Do you only help women?
Yes. I had one male client, and after the male client, I helped him we coached for 12 weeks. He was super happy and all of that. And I realized women is where it's at for me. It's what I do. There's just something of a connection, and it's just living your life as a woman and being able to see through a woman's eyes. I think that's just how it is, but yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else have a question? China, I know you're studying to be a life coach. I don't know if you know Jeanette is a life coach. Anything you want to ask her?
I totally picked up on it. I may take you up on the 30 minutes.
You can just, if you find on my Instagram account in my bio, you can just click the link in my bio that says, it's called a GPS session, and it's guided personal strategy. So GPS for clarity. You can just do that, sign up, pick the date that best suits you, and we can meet further for whatever on Zoom.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
I just want to say, Jeanette, so much of what you said is aligned with what we do here.
Good.
In our community, we practice goals and vision and personal growth and clarity. And, I love it because there was so much that I was like, yes, Brene Brown, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all of that. We're so familiar with that. I will tell you that the core value exercise is one of my favorites. And I'm going to share it really quickly. I did that exercise not too long ago, but here's what I find fascinating is that as you age, they change.
Yes.
Because if I would have asked the Susie when she was 20, what are your core values? It would have been fun, happiness.
Yeah, travel, adventure. Not that there's nothing wrong with that at this age, but yeah.
And now it's like faith, family, health, peace, but it was so great. And I hope that my girls are able to take that. I hope they took a picture of it. I did too. And they hone in on taking the time, because it really is so valuable to be that clear. And because you're a clarity coach, I thought spot on. She's helping us really be intentional with what is important to us and how do we act so that we implement more of that in our life to be fulfilled and live a thriving life. Absolutely. I love that.
And how you are intentional with your time.
Yeah.
Right. Because if we're here and there and being superwoman to everybody, then it's like we're giving our power away, and then there's nothing left for us. There's nothing selfish about putting yourself and your health first, because then you're serving from a full bucket, not even a full cup, a full bucket. Now you have loads to give to other people.
Yeah.
So self-care is another topic for another day.
Yeah. The other two things that I want to share was when you said there's power in the pause. Stacy could vouch that I always say, Stace, I'm going to sit in my pause.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, girl, you need to. That's something that connected with me a lot, because I always try to really hone in on that. And then the question, does this support the direction of the life I'm trying to create? For me, it's always, Susie, does this serve you?
Yeah.
Because if it's not serving me or my marriage or my parenting skills or my friendship or whatever, then it's not supporting the life I'm trying to create and the person that I'm trying to become. So I just want to say thank you so much. Such alignment here.
Thank you. I'm glad. You guys are an amazing group. Thank you for filling up the chat. A lot of times you're like, oh, post in the chat, and it's like crickets. So thank you for being involved. I appreciate it, giving me the feedback. Anyway, I'd love to keep the connection going over on Instagram. Feel free to follow me or share my account with those that you feel are also aligned with this. And we hope that our paths cross again. And I wish you so many blessings on your journey for this. Keep up the good work. And you've got a great coach there leading you on. Okay. Have a great night.
Have a great night, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.